So, Stephen D here on Pure 24/7 Radio, and I am joined by one of the writers for Pure Media, the magazine. Hello, Anne Laure Jackson.
Hello, good to be here. Good to see you.
Excellent. So before we begin, let's just start with what it is you get up to.
Okay, so I am an occupational therapist, and there are so many different things that we can do as OTs, but I have specialized in sensory processing and integration, which is a field that goes from working with little babies right through to our older folks who are in nursing homes and care homes. So all children, all adults of any age can have a sensory processing and integration issue that might get in the way of life. So the life that they want to lead can get a bit disrupted by the way that they perceive sensations from either the world around them or from their own bodies. And that's what I do.
Cool. And so, in addition to that, you also have, as a regular guest on the Get Your Home show with Andy B. You join him and chat about this sorts of stuff. And you also write in Pure Media, the magazine. So let's talk about your latest article in the June edition, When
Mm.
Behaviour Speaks, Seeing the Sensory Story Behind the Struggle. So what would be what inspired you to write on this?
Yeah, I think coming into June, certainly for most of us, it is when we focus on the children's side of it, we are coming to the end of the school year. Northern Ireland finishes in June. Most people are winding down. The temperature's either getting hotter for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere or colder. And there are changes and there are transitions and bodies and energy levels that can be kind of tired or like kind of spiky. If you're home educating, it's a different thing, but there is still nuances about this time of year. Apart from there's an excitement for summer, but there's also lots of transitions coming. And for many, it's the end of a school year, whether you're a parent or the child themselves. And so, yeah, and energy levels and tolerance to various sensory experiences can be less, which can cause a bit more of that fluctuation in behaviors because folks are getting tired, and that tiredness has an impact on how the brain and the body reacts to life around it, really.
Yeah, I imagine most people would kind of assume we're going into the summer, it's all good now, everything's brilliant. But actually, with every changing season, there's new disadvantages, new problems. There'll be some good things, but there could be some, as you say, challenges.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we haven't even gone into sand and folks heading out to the beach and things like that. And you think, oh my goodness, for some of my people, that's major. But let's stick in June. We've just where most folks have still got head down. Some might be in holiday mode, but not quite yet. The anticipation's there, which for some is really hard to deal with. It's like, waiting for Christmas. It's like, oh, waiting for the summer holidays. It's like that anticipation. Oh, that can be a killer in and of itself. But
Yeah, it's interesting how the different seasons each come with their own problems, and even as we go into the brighter, warmer months, actually they bring their own challenges. So a big
mm,
part of your article is about how behavior can often be sort of seen as, oh, they're just misbehaving, but actually kind of understanding there's a reason behind that, why they're acting like they are. And it reminds me of a common phrase I've heard used and said, and I try to sort of live by, is hear the pain, not the words. And when someone is kind of
mm.
hurting, they might say things that they'll regret later, but try and hear the pain that they're feeling. And I think there's something of what you're talking about in this article.
Yeah, that's a brilliant one. I hadn't actually heard that one, but it's so true. Yeah. So for us, my phrase is see behavior, think sensory. So that's very much for those of us in this sphere of work. That's very much what we do. We look at the behaviors where we see the frustrations or the meltdowns or anxiety, or bothered getting their clothes on, bothered transitioning into lighter clothing rather than what they've been used to, having more air, having extra heat. Those are the things that kind of bother people and start to bring out behaviors that are not that pleasant to live with, put it that way. And that's where it's just like, okay, so you see a behavior, let's have a look at it at a different way so that we can then interpret it from a sensory perspective. And then that really opens up compassion. That really opens up a different way of managing your family, working with other people in the workplace. It changes things. How you respond to your spouse. Lots of things change when you can start to at least pause for a moment and think, actually, if this has a sensory root, what could that root be? And therefore, what can we do about it to change it?
Yeah, I think we can all definitely appreciate and understand something of that. I mean, I really like wearing a hoodie. And so winter time is brilliant. I can always wear a hoodie. I just find them very comfortable. As we come to the summer months, it's a bit too hot. And I'm not really overly keen on having no sleeves. Like, I'm not a big fan of wearing just a t-shirt, but it's too
Right.
hot to wear a hoodie, so I have to. And so it's little things like that. Now, it doesn't really bother me
Mm.
all that much, but it's a slight preference that I have to sort of push to one side as we go into the warmer months. So I think everyone can definitely appreciate this and maybe to a certain degree actually has it without even realizing it.
Yeah, yeah, and that's it. And it's just like knowing, well, and that's fine. We're all, whether you call it a quirk or we just are. Sometimes I just think it's not even a quirk. We really are. If we actually talk about this, you'd realize if you sat like 20 of you around it in a room, you could go around and somebody will have, a little something, whether it be short sleeves or long sleeves or the volume of something or how bright they like something. It's just our sensory preferences. It's our sensory patterns. I just particularly, well, I was going to say I particularly like to help people who are struggling, but actually I also really like helping the people to rest in themselves. Be even more confident and content in themselves, knowing and celebrating those differences. I don't celebrate the differences when they're hard. That's a big difference. I think there's neurodiversity and neuroaffirming, but actually there are some people for whom we really do want to help and try and change things. Whereas for typical people, I just think let's embrace who you are and how you are and relax into it and communicate well with others so they don't bother you. But
Yeah.
yeah, there you go.
I suppose a big part of it is being aware of the changing seasons and what differences that might bring. The obvious one is the warmer weather. And
Mm,
I know that I've sometimes you get too hot, you can get a bit hot and bothered, a bit irritable. So it's really
mm.
easy to kind of comprehend how someone might be bothered by some of the simpler things. Just simply getting too hot can make me a little bit irritable sometimes. So we think we can all appreciate that.
Yeah, I love that phrase because actually the heat is one of our tactile senses. So, and we know it is a common phrase that we use, hot and bothered. And it's
Yeah.
just like I could almost go through every sense and say, oh yeah, touched and bothered. You see things and bothered. It's kind of like, oh, clumsy, bothered. It's like we could go through all the senses, but yeah, hot and bothered. If you understand hot and bothered, you'll understand. Think about your seven senses. That might be new for some people, but think about what those senses are and see, where are you bothered and communicate that with somebody.
Cool. So as we sort of bring this to a close, what might be the one thing you want people to take away from reading this article? What might be the main thing you want them to kind of go away and think about?
Mm. Definitely don't jump to conclusions about behavior, and don't come down hard on children as your first. Well, it depends how you parent anyway. But if it's children, just allow a little bit more understanding and ask a few more questions about what's going on. If they're in, if they're upset already, then that's not a good time to talk. So it's kind of like talking after the event. But asking those questions about what was going on in that situation. I think it's more just pausing before you respond to something and learn what sensory processing, how sensory processing might be affecting a behavior. Just read up on it a little bit, Google it, go to my website, whatever you want to do. Just find out more about it so that you can understand a little bit more, which will certainly help your own patients. It'll help and also help the individual that you're trying to be with, or help yourself. So yeah,
Yeah.
just pause, see your behavior, but pause and find out more.
So basically, the conclusion of this is to not jump to conclusions.
Mm,
Yeah.
hmm
Excellent.
hmm
So it's been really cool chatting with you to kind of unpack this a little bit and to look into what might be causing people to behave as they are, especially as we move into the warmer months of June and considering actually that all the different seasons bring their own problems. So thank you for joining us and thank you for bringing your expertise to the radio and to the magazine.
Thank you. Great to see you.